Hello everyone. Now, having gone through Rawls law, ideal solution, non-ideal solution, positive deviation, negative deviation, and etc. Now it's time for application of these laws in solving the numerical problems. So far we have discussed the theory part of this Rawls law, positive deviation, negative deviation, ideal solution, what is vapor pressure, how this vapor pressure is related to the composition of the components present in the solution. Now in this lecture I am trying to use this in solving numerical problems. That means we are this lecture will focus mainly on the problem solving, numericals, and use of this formula. Now starting with this, let's start with this question. Number 1 says the vapor pressure of pure A. Now means we have the solution of A and B. The vapor pressure of pure A in the solution is 0.80 atm. When this solution A, pure component, to this we add a non-volatile solute B, because of which the vapor pressure changes to 0.6 atm. The question says, what is the mole fraction of component B? That means we have a solution of A and B. A is volatile, B is non-volatile. Now when a non-volatile solid B is added to a volatile solvent A, the vapor pressure decreases. What is the mole fraction of the non-volatile component? Now look at this. Vapor pressure of pure component was 0.08, solution is 0.6, so there is a decrease in vapor pressure. Now we have to find the mole fraction. Now we have Rawls law. From Rawls law we say, one of the statements of Rawls says relative lowering of vapor pressure is equals to the mole fraction of the solute. So we have, look at this, delta P by PS, P naught is equals to mole fraction of the solute. Now delta P, this is P naught minus PS divided by P naught is equals to mole fraction of B. So therefore look at this mole fraction of B in the solution, we have P naught 0.8, PS 0.6 divided by 0.8, so this comes out to be 0.2 by 0.8, so this is 1/4, or we can say 0.25. So simply look at this, we have used a Rawls law in defining the mole fraction of the composition B, that is the non-volatile solute, because of which the vapor pressure in the solution decreases. So this is one of the equation that we have derived. Now second question, look at this. Now we have a solution of A plus B. A is volatile, B is non-volatile. Means a non-volatile solid is added to a volatile component. given a vapor pressure of pure A, this is equals to 40 mm mercury, and the vapor pressure of solution PS, this is equals to 32 mm mercury. Then question says, what is the mole fraction of A? What is the mole fraction of A if the solution obeys Raoult's law? Raoult's law is followed. Now we have to find the mole fraction of A in the solution. Now A and B is non-volatile. The question says, what is the composition of the volatile solvent? Due to the presence of this B, the vapor pressure of the solution is decreased. Now again look at this. Instead of finding the mole fraction of B, the non-volatile solute, we are asked to find the mole fraction of the volatile component present in the solution. So again now question says this question follows, this solution follows Raoult's law, so we have to use Raoult's law. Look at the solution. Again from Raoult's law we says delta P divided by P naught is equals to mole fraction of the non-volatile solute. So delta P is, look at this, P naught minus PS, so P naught is 40, PS is 32 divided by P naught, that is 40. This equals to mole fraction of B. So look at this, 8 by 40, which is equals to mole fraction of B. Now look at this, therefore this mole fraction of B is equals to 0.2. So the composition or the mole fraction of B in the solution is 0.2. Therefore mole fraction of volatile component A in the solution is 1 minus mole fraction of B, because we have gone through this. The summation of the mole fraction of components present in the solution is always equals to 1. So therefore mole fraction of A is equals to 1 minus mole fraction of B. So this is 1 minus 0.2, that is 0.8. So look at this. Again we are finding the mole fraction again by use of this Raoult's law, but instead of finding this mole fraction of the non-volatile solute, we have been asked to find the mole fraction of the volatile component. So first of all we have to define the mole fraction of B by use of this relative lowering of vapor pressure, Raoult's law. Then we have defined this mole fraction of the volatile component present in the solution. So this is the second question. Now let's see third question. Question says mole fraction of component A in the vapor phase. Again now look at this, we have a mixture of A and B. The mole fraction of A in the vapor, Y represents mole fraction and vapor. So mole fraction of A in the vapor is given as x1, and the mole fraction of A in liquid, this is given as x2. Then question says what is the total vapor pressure if vapor pressure of pure A is PA naught, then what is the total pressure of this solution? So look at this, we have a solution of A plus B. Mole fraction of A in liquid and vapors are given. Vapor pressure of pure A is PA naught. Then what is the total vapor pressure of the solution? Now we have this equation, total vapor pressure, mole fraction. So we have this from Dalton's law. We have this Dalton's law. So Dalton's law says mole fraction of vapor is equals to vapor pressure of A in the mixture divided by total. Now therefore look at this, total pressure is equals to PA divided by YA. Now PA is equals to, from Raoult's law, mole fraction of A in the liquid, that is X2. Vapor pressure of A in the pure state is PA naught divided by mole fraction of A in the vapor phase is X1. So simply look at this, we have to give the expression. So total pressure is partial pressure of A divided by mole fraction of A in the gas state. So this is the total pressure of the solution A and B. So this is third question. Now I'll take up some questions here, some more questions. Next question says, now question number 4 says we have a solution of A and B solution. Both A and B is volatile. Question says the total pressure, total vapor pressure P total is given as 254 minus 119 XT, where this X is the mole fraction of A. This is mole fraction of A in the mixture. Question says find the total vapor pressure of A and B. Question says find this value. PA naught equals to what? PB naught equals to what? So we have a solution of A and B, both are volatile. Total pressure of the solution is given by this formula. Now we have to find the vapor pressure of pure A and pure B. Now we have, now look at it, let's see how to solve this. Total pressure is given as, mole fraction is given as, we have to find the values of A and B. Now while discussing vapor pressure of two volatile liquids, we have defined the total pressure. So total pressure is equals to PA plus PB. P is PA naught XA, PB naught XB. Now this is expressed in terms of mole fraction of A, so we have to express this in terms of mole fraction of A. So in terms of mole fraction of A, this equation is equals to PA naught minus PB naught times mole fraction of A plus PB naught. Now look at this, we have to compare this. This is the total pressure expressed in terms of mole fraction of A. Now we have to compare this equation. So comparing these two, we say look at this, this is 119 XA, so this is PA naught minus PB times XA, PB naught. So therefore look at this, comparing this, PB naught is equals to 254 and PA naught minus PB naught is equals to minus 119, because this into XA. So therefore look at this, PA naught is equals to PB naught minus 119. So PB naught is 254 minus 119. So this is how we define vapor pressure of A and B. Now what is, look at this, from the given data we have to use which formula is to be used. already I have shown you this total pressure in terms of mole fraction of A or in terms of mole fraction of B. Now since this is given in terms of mole fraction of A, so we have to express this total pressure in terms of mole fraction of A. So simply by comparing these two, we are getting the values of PA0 and PB0. Now look at next another question. Now question says A and B forms a liquid solution, both are volatile liquid. So A and B forms a liquid solution. The vapor pressure of A and B, pure A is 66 mm mercury, vapor pressure of pure B is 88 mm mercury. Calculate the composition of A in the solution if the molar volume of A in the vapor phase is 36%. Now find the mole fraction of A in the solution if molar volume of A in vapor is 36%. So now question says we have a solution of A and B. Both A and B are liquid. Vapor pressure of A and B pure state is given to you. We have to find the mole fraction of A in the solution if the molar volume of A in the vapor is 36. Now look at this question says this is the volume percentage of A. For gas, volume percentage is equals to mole percentage. So mole percentage is nothing but the mole fraction. So question indirectly says since volume percentage is given, so indirectly question is saying that the mole fraction of A in the vapor phase is 36%. So therefore mole fraction of A in the vapor is 0.36. Now PA0 and PB0 is given. We have to find the mole fraction of A. Now look at this. This YA is equals to PA0 XA divided by total pressure. Total pressure is PA0 minus PB0 XA plus PB0, that is Dalton's law. So mole fraction is partial pressure divided by total pressure. So partial pressure of A is PA0 into XA. This is total pressure which is expressed in terms of mole fraction of A. Now look at this. So this value, so 0.36 is equals to PA0. PA0 is given here 66. So we have 66 XA. PA0 minus PB0. So PA0 is 66, PB0 is 88. So 66 minus 88 mole fraction of A plus PB0. PB0 is, now look at this, we have to solve this equation. So this is 0.36 is equals to 66 into mole fraction of A. So this is minus 22 XA plus. So by solving this equation, we will find the values of A. So this is 0.36 into minus 22 XA plus 88 into 0.36 is equals to 66 XA. So therefore look at this, 66 plus 22 into 0.36 times mole fraction of A is equals to 88 into 0.36. So therefore look at this, mole fraction of A is equals to 88 into 0.36 divided by 66 into 22 into 0.36. So on solving these, we'll get the values of mole fraction of A. So now look at this. Again, we are using this Dalton's law. What is mole fraction of A is equals to partial pressure of A divided by total pressure. So total pressure is expressed in terms of mole fraction of A. So just by solving this, we'll get the mole fraction of A in the solution, whose molar volume is given as 36% in the vapor phase. Now let's take some more examples here, so that we are more aware of this, how this different equations should be used. Now question says, the vapor pressure of pure methyl alcohol, vapor pressure of pure methyl alcohol is given as 92 torricelli. The mole fraction of methyl alcohol, mole fraction of CH3OH in the solution is given as we have to find the mole fraction of methyl alcohol in the solution, provided the vapor pressure of solution is given as 23 torr. Now we are given a pure solvent, that is methyl alcohol, whose vapor pressure is given as 92 torricelli. Vapor pressure of solution containing some other non-volatile solid is given as 23 torr. So what is the mole fraction of the pure component? Now look at this. Vapor pressure pure and vapor pressure solution is given. Now we have to find the mole fraction of. Now according to Raoult's law, so we have Raoult's law. Raoult's law says vapor pressure of solution is equals to vapor pressure of pure component multiplied by the mole fraction of the solvent. So this is the pure solvent. So therefore look at this. Mole fraction of solvent is equals to PS divided by P naught. So PS is given as 23. P naught is given as 90. So this is the mole fraction of A in the solution. So simply we are using Raoult's law. Vapor pressure of solution is directly proportional to mole fraction of solvent present in the solution. So this is 4. So 0. This is the mole fraction of A. That is the mole fraction of pure solvent. So use of Raoult's law. So these are some of the objective type questions which. Now some more questions. Look at this question carefully. Now we have a solution of chloroform plus acetone. Now we are having a solution of chloroform and acetone. So initially chloroform was maintained at some temperature T, and this acetone was also mentioned at temperature T. Now after mixing of these two, what will be the temperature? If temperature is greater than T, this was as temperature T Kelvin, this was also temperature at T Kelvin. Now question is, after mixing this, temperature final, will it be equals to T or Tf greater than T or Tf less than T, or data insufficient? This is the question. So look at this very carefully. We have given two components, chloroform initially at temperature T Kelvin, acetone initially again at temperature T Kelvin. Now after these two is being mixed, resulting in the formation of a solution, the final temperature of the solution, will it be equals to initial temperature, greater than or less than initial temperature? Now to check these types of question, we have to find the nature of intermolecular attractive force present between A, B, B and B. Now look at this chloroform CaCl3 interacts with CaCl3. So interaction between CaCl3, this is dipole type. So we have dipole type interaction. Because look at this, chloroform is a polar molecule because of electronegativity, difference between carbon and hydrogen. Now between acetone CH3 to CO, acetone and acetone, again this is dipole interactions. So between chloroform is dipole, between acetone is again dipole interaction type. But now after mixing these two, chloroform CCl3CH and acetone. Now acetone and chloroform forms hydrogen bond. This is hydrogen bond. Now look at this, out of the intermolecular attractive force, the hydrogen bond strength is greater than dipole interaction. So this is greater than dipole. So if stronger interaction is existing between chloroform molecule and acetone molecule, some amount of energy must be released. So because of this stronger hydrogen bond formation, energy is released. If energy is released, then temperature must increase. So since energy is released, so therefore if energy is released means final temperature should be greater than the initial temperature. So now look at this. For such type of question, we have to find the nature of interaction present between the components. Now take this question. Now we have look at this. I have taken some volume. That is, suppose I have taken 10 ml of water plus nitric acid. Again I have taken this 10 ml. Now 10 ml of water is mixed with 10 ml of nitric acid. Now this forms a solution. Now after this solution, this volume of mixture after mixing, this is equals to 20 ml. This volume mixes is greater than 20 ml, or this volume of mixture is less than 20 ml. Now find answer. We have taken two liquids, water and nitric acid, both taken as 10 ml, 10 ml. After mixing this, what is the final volume of the solution after mixing? Will it be equals to the sum of the initial volumes, or will it be greater than or less than the initial volume? Now again these two, now we have to see whether this solution is forming an ideal solution or this is forming a non-ideal solution. If this forms ideal solution, initial volume is equal to final volume. If this forms a non-ideal solution, initial volume and final volume will be different. If this forms non-ideal solution, then whether this is forming positive deviation or this is forming negative deviation. Now look at this. This mixture of water and nitric acid. Water contains hydrogen bond, nitric acid also contains hydrogen bond, but when this nitric acid is mixed with water, the H plus ion coming from nitric acid reacts with water. So this forms a stronger bond. So when this water and nitric acid forms a stronger bond, then individual water and then individual nitric acid. So because of this formation of strong bond, this solution is showing negative deviation. So mixture of water and nitric acid is showing a negative deviation. If solution is forming negative deviation, then the condition says delta V mix should be less than 0. Delta V mix should be less than 0. That means this final volume after mixing minus initial volume, this must be less than 0. That means initial volume is greater than final volume. That means therefore this final volume should be less than. So there is decrease in volume due to this stronger attractive force that exists between water molecules and nitric acid molecules. So all this, look at this, depends on this. Now since there is a stronger attractive force, though I have expressed this in terms of delta V mix. Now for the same question, if question says, look at this, since this is forming negative deviation, so enthalpy change delta H mixing will also be less than 0. That means if delta H is mixing is present, that means enthalpy of the final state after mixing is less than enthalpy initial. That means the process is exothermic. Now since the process is exothermic, this negative deviation, the solution showing negative deviation, this will show maximum boiling azeotrope. The one which shows negative deviation from Raoult's law will show maximum boiling azeotrope. Now since we are having azeotropic mixtures, so azeotropic mixtures is a mixtures in which both the components of the solution boils with the same temperature, boils at a fixed temperature. Now since at a particular composition the solution is boiling with the same, means both components will boil at the same temperature, so its distillation is not possible. Distillation not possible. So since this being exothermic, energy must be released. So if energy is released, so in terms of temperature, this final temperature should always be greater than initial temperature, because the energy released will be consumed by the system. If energy released by the consumed by the system is total energy of the system, or the temperature of the system will increase. So temperature final will always be greater than initial temperature. So this is the application of the conditions given. So to define this, and now what we are trying to convey is, we have to find the nature of interaction present between the components in the solution. Once we can identify the nature of interaction present in the solution, we can define whether the solution is ideal, whether the solution is positive deviation, or whether the solution is negative deviation. Now one more important thing, look at this. Most of us are well aware, during cutting of onion, जब ऑनियन हम लोग काटते हैं तो आंख से आंसू निकलते हैं. Very good. So why this is because the onion contains some compounds of sulfur, and because of these compounds of sulfur ये देखकर teary eye हो जाते हैं, आंख से आंसू निकलते हैं. Now टू प्रिवेंट दिस हम लोग क्या करेंगे, अब इस फ्रेशली कट ऑनियंस को आप फ्रीज में रख दीजिए। अब जब फ्रीज में रख के कुछ समय फ्रीज में रखिए, ठंडा होने दीजिए, उसके बाद आप निकाल के काटिए। काटने पे आपको आंसू नहीं आएंगे, या जो भी आंसू आएंगे वो कम आएंगे। कैन यू टेल मी द रीजन व्हाई दिस इज सो? द रीजन बीइंग, जब आपने रूम टेम्परेचर में ऑनियन, फ्रेश ऑनियन को काटा, तो रूम टेम्परेचर में टेम्परेचर ज्यादा था तो वेपर प्रेशर इज मोर। तो जो सल्फर जो कंटेनिंग कंपाउंड है, जिसके वजह से आंख में आंसू निकल रहा था, तो उस पर्टिकुलर रूम टेम्परेचर में उसका वेपर प्रेशर इज मोर। तो टेम्परेचर ज्यादा होने से वेपर प्रेशर विल बी मोर। नाउ इफ सपोज दिस फ्रेशली कट ऑनियंस को मैंने फ्रीज में रखा, तो फ्रीज में रखने से क्या होगा, ऑब्वियसली टेम्परेचर बहुत नीचे चला जाएगा। If temperature is decreased, the vapor pressure is also decreased. So if the vapor pressure is decreased, the compound which is responsible for the formation of tear, जो आंख के साथ लेकर जो tear बन रहा था, वो क्या होगा, बहुत कम बनेगा। अब कम बनने से क्या होगा, आंख में आंसू कम निकलेगा। So this is the some of the questions which is related to morpheus and objective type. Now I'll take up some subjective questions. How to solve subjective type questions by use of this. Subjective questions. Write down this question. So first question is vapor pressure of pure A and B. Pure A is equals to 450 mm. Vapor pressure of pure B is equals to 700 mm mercury. Now total pressure of the solution is 600 mm mercury. Question says find the composition of liquid mixture and also composition of vapor phase. So find mole fraction of A and mole fraction of B in the liquid, mole fraction of A and mole fraction of B in the vapor phase. So question says that we have a solution of A and B. Initial प्योर ए और प्योर बी वेपर प्रेशर आपके सामने गिवन है, टोटल प्रेशर भी गिवन है। नाउ वी हैव टू फाइंड द मोल फ्रैक्शन ऑफ ए एंड बी इन द सॉल्यूशन। नाउ टू डिफाइन दिस वी हैव अ नंबर ऑफ इक्वेशंस देयर आपको यूज करेंगे। सिंस ये आपके पास क्वेश्चन में अगर इस तरह से गिवन है, तो लेट्स एज्यूम कि दिस इज फॉर्मिंग एन आइडियल सॉल्यूशन। सो फॉर दिस आइडियल सॉल्यूशन टोटल प्रेशर, सो नाउ लुक एट दिस टोटल प्रेशर। टोटल प्रेशर is equals to, now let's express this in terms of mole fraction of B. So PB naught minus PA naught into mole fraction of B plus PA naught. Total pressure expressed in terms of mole fraction of B. So total pressure is given as 600, PB is 700, PA naught is 450, that is mole fraction of B, plus PA naught is 450. So therefore look at this, XB is equals to 600 minus 450 divided by that is 700 minus 450, that is 250. So this is 150 divided by 250. So this comes out to be 0.6. So the mole fraction of B in the liquid is 0.6. So therefore mole fraction of A in the liquid is 1 minus XB, that is 0.4. So we have mole fraction of A and B in the liquid. Now once we have mole fraction of A and B in the liquid, we can easily define the mole fraction of A and B in the vapor phase. So look at this. From Dalton's law, YA is equals to PA divided by P total. P is PA naught XA divided by P total. Now we have XA PA, so P is 450, X is 4 divided by total is 600. So this is the mole fraction of A in the solution. So if this is the mole fraction of A in the solution, we can define the mole fraction of B. So mole fraction of B in the vapor phase 1 minus mole fraction of A. So look at this, we are using the condition of total pressure here. So once these given are, so according to the given data, we should be able to write down the equations. So this is question 1. Take the second question. So look at this question. An aqueous solution of 2% non-volatile solute. Aqueous solution of 2% non-volatile. So this is mass by mass. Exerts a vapor pressure. So vapor pressure of solution is 1.004, but at the normal boiling point of water. So look at this, very important conditions are given. This vapor pressure is at the normal boiling point of water. So now look at this, normal boiling point of water is 100 degree centigrade. So indirectly question says this is the normal boiling point of water में vapor pressure of solution given. Now question says what is the molecular mass of solute? Calculate the molecular mass of solute. Now first thing, look at this, 2%. So given says I represent this solute by 2, solvent by 1. So mass of solute is given as 2 gram. Then the mass of solvent, that is water, so this comes out to be 98 gram. ये given है because percentage means total mass of the solution should be 100 grams. So out of this 100 gram, 2 gram is for non-volatile solid and the remaining 98 gram is for the volatile component, that is water. So PS, vapor pressure of solution, is 1.004 bar. Vapor pressure of pure water is at the normal boiling point 100 degrees centigrade. The vapor pressure of pure water is 1.01325 bar. That is the normal vapor pressure of water at 100 degrees centigrade, 1.01325 bar. So we have P naught, we have PS, mass is given, we have to find the molecular mass of the solid. Now we have relative lowering of vapor pressure. So according to Raoult's law, we have delta P by PS is equals to N1, so N1 divided by N2. So N1 is W1 by M1, so W by M1 divided by N2 is W2 by M2, so we can write out this is M2 by M1. So therefore look at this, M1, that is the molecular mass of solute, which is equals to W1 by W2 into M2 into PS divided by delta P. Now we have the values of W1, W2, M2. W1 is 2, W2 is 98, molecular mass of water is 18, PS of the solution is 1.004, delta P is P0 minus P0. pH 1.01325 minus 1.00. So since this is gram, so we say this is gram per mole. So the point that we have to keep in mind is first the use of this percentage, that is mass by mass. So mass of solute and mass of solvent is defined. This is given as 100 degrees centigrade. So at 100 degrees centigrade, that is the normal boiling point of water. So at this point the vapor pressure of pure water should be 1.01325 bar. So that thing we have to keep in mind. So once we know this data, we can easily define the given what is being asked in the question. Now let's take some more examples here. Question. The vapor pressure of water, vapor pressure of pure water is given as 12.3 kilopascal at 300. This is at 300 K. At 300 K, vapor pressure of pure water is given as 12.3 kilopascal. Calculate the vapor pressure of solution. Now we have to find the vapor pressure of solution, whose concentration is given as 1 molar. So concentration of solution is 1 molar, means 1 molar solute. Due to the presence of this non-volatile solid, vapor pressure of the solution obviously क्या करेंगे, decrease करेंगे. So what is the vapor pressure of the solution? Now look at this. Now to use this Raoult's law, we need to find the mole fraction or number of moles of solute as well as solvent. Now to define this, we have given this concentration. So now look at this. Concentration is given as molar. That is molality. So molality is defined as number of moles divided by mass of solvent given in terms of kilogram. So therefore 1 molar means 1 mole of solute is present in 1 kilogram of water, because solution is aqueous solution. So we know the number of moles of solute. So therefore number of moles of solute, that is solute be 1. So this is equals to 1. So number of moles of water, that is mass divided by molar mass. So mass is 1000 gram divided by molar mass is 18. So this comes out to be 55.56. So we have number of moles of. Now once we have this number of moles, we can define the mole fraction of water. So the mole fraction of water is equals to number of moles of water divided by total number of moles. So this is 55.56 divided by 55.56 plus 1. So this is 55.56 divided by 56.6. Now once we have this mole fraction of water, we can use this Raoult's law. Now from this Raoult's law, we have, look at this, mole fraction, vapor pressure of solution is equals to vapor pressure of pure component into mole fraction of solvent. So therefore PS is equals to P naught is given as 12.3 into X is given as 55.56 divided by 56.56. So this is kilopascal, so this must be in terms of kilopascal. So obviously look at it, this ratio is less than 1, so this must be slightly less than 12.3. So look at this. So why I am giving this question? Because we have to use the condition of this concentration being 1 molar. So concentration being 1 molar means 1 mole of solid is present in 1 kilogram of solvent, and the solvent is water. So from this we have to find the number of moles of solute and number of moles of solvent. Once we define this number of moles of solute and solvent, we can easily define the mole fraction of the components in this solution. So this is another question. Let me take a some more questions. Question says, calculate the mass of a non-volatile solute. So we have to find the mass of non-volatile solute. The molecular mass of this solute is given as 40 gram per mole, which should be dissolved in. Mass of solvent is given as 114 gram, and this is octane. So octane is C8H18. So since question says solvent is octane, how much of mass is to be used? 114 gram of octane में we have to dissolve some W grams of solute. So what is the mass of solid? Now so look at this, octane is given as, so the mass, molecular mass of octane, let this be into, this is also 114. From this we can define the molecular mass of octane. Question says, so that vapor pressure is reduced to 80%. So vapor pressure is reduced to 80% of the initial value. Initially we have pure octane, that is 114 gram. At certain specified temperature it has some vapor pressure. Now to this we add W grams of a non-volatile solute whose molecular mass is 40 gram. Because of this addition of non-volatile solute, the vapor pressure of solution is reduced to the 80% of initial value. Then what is the mass of solute that has been dissolved? Now first look at this. Vapor pressure of solution is 80% of the initial value. So question says vapor pressure is reduced to 80%. Now we have W2 given, W1 given, M1, M2 is given. Now we have to use Raoult's law. So therefore look at this, according to Raoult's law, delta P divided by PS, that is exact form of Raoult's law, this is equals to N1 by N2. N1 is W1 by M1, N2 is W2 by M2. So we can write out this in terms of mass and molar mass. Now we have to find W1, so therefore W1 is equals to delta P by PS into M1 by M2 into W2. So we have delta P. Delta P is P naught minus PS divided by PS into M1. M1 is 40, M2 is 114, into W2 is 114. P naught minus PS. PS is 0.8 of P naught, 0.8 of P naught. So this is 0.8 of P naught into 40. So this is 0.2 P naught divided by 0.8 P naught into 40. So this comes out to be P naught will cancel out. This one, so this is 4. So this comes out to be 10 gram. That means on addition of 10 gram, vapor pressure is reduced to 80% of the initial value. So this is how we used the equation that we have derived so far in Raoult's law. So these are some of the typical examples by which we can solve subjective as well as objective problems. So hopefully you can do the rest of the problems given in NCERT textbook and other objective questions. So for this I'll just wind up here. Thank you.